Welcome to part 3 of the Sonic Unleashed Let's Play. So remember back in Sonic Adventure 1 and how we controlled the tornado as a whole 2 times, well technically 4, because we had to do it in both Sonic and Tails' story. Well, they decided to bring that concept back, only instead of controlling like a traditional shooter, it's now full of quick time events. Yeah, I can see why I can see why this sucks. So, all right, but oh man, I don't know what to say. Granted, I've been off for a while. Okay, the concept is as simple as it sounds and as simple as it looks. As soon as the planes show up, press the corresponding button and you get to destroy it in one hit. Granted, there is a bit of a challenge factor, I will say that. In fact, there is an achievement for going through the first tornado segment and without sustaining any damage. So I guess that's something, right? But if you memorize the whole level and what QuickTime events there are, well, okay, we'll just memorize the whole level, then this shouldn't be a problem to you. Well, maybe at the very end, and when things get hectic, but, you know, this is nothing too bad. The reason why not a lot of people will like these, per se, is because, again, it's QuickTime events. And there's really not much challenge compared to the tornado, well, Sky Chase in SA1. Both acts, actually. However, to the stages. However, when you like them or hate them, there's only 2 of these. I'm gonna say right off the bat. So you don't have to worry about these being just as apparent as the Werehog, although these can last a little too long. And occasionally, from time to time, you'll have some quick time events that are really close together, and you'll have to hit all the buttons in quick succession, and you get to do a cool little spinning animation. But I'm gonna be honest, there's really nothing left. Well, at least nothing else to this kind of stage. It's sort of there, really. Actually, in the Wii version of the game, these stages aren't present. Like, you never do these stages in the Wii version because, I don't know, maybe Dents didn't know how to program something like this. Although, then again, I am kind of happy for that. Yeah, but then again, I think the Wii version is the inferior version. Okay, so now we are on. Now, since we're at the ending part of the tornado defense and zone anyway, we have to defeat the Egg Cauldron, and there's really not much strategy other than just mash the buttons, per se. Yeah, just mash the buttons. Well, not mash the buttons, but just do what you did before, and you should be just fine. And it's really not much different than what you were doing earlier, although you are on a time limit. Although the time limit is not really an issue. I guess it does take a bit for this thing to open up, but then again, this thing's on a set path. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, but you know. You'll know when the hatch is open when Eggman says, "Go, fire all weapons." Yeah, like that. And now the reason why, I'm not hitting as many targets as I used to back then is because, I don't know, I guess I've gotten older and my reaction times are, and my reaction skills are going to shit. So, yeah, I apologize for that. Then again, I haven't played this level in a while. Then again, although, again, why would I? And that's pretty much it. Again, all it is a dumbed down version of Sky Chase Zone from Sonic Adventure 1. It's quick time events, there's not much strategy, and we're only going to be coming across this kind of level very later on in the game. So I better prepare myself for that. I don't know what the stipulation is for getting the S rank. Alright, so now that pointless act is out of the way, we are now in Spagonia. Obviously, this kind of setting is in Sonic Generations, and as far as the aesthetics go, Spagonia goes for the European style city. Because, well, obviously Big Ben is a tower that's similar to Big Ben is here, and when I say similar, I mean an exact copy, but, you know. It's very reminiscent to the European styled cities.
What? Professor Pickle's been kidnapped?
It was a little bit before the tremors hit. This old man showed up with a whole pack of robots. They carried poor Professor Pickle off, lab data and all.
It can't be.
That sure sounds like Eggman.
What a horrible thing to do. We've got to go help that professor guy out, and fast. If he got kidnapped that long ago, he's got to be real hungry by now. And if I was that hungry, I don't know how long I would last. I'd rather be dead.
I'm sure Eggman is feeding him. Even he's not that cruel.
Okay. Let's go and find the professor.
That's another. You know what? That's actually another thing why I like Sonic Unleashed. The plot. I mean, granted, it's not as simple or as childish as some people would say as Sonic Colors one game later, but the way on how this plot is handled so far, at least as a whole, well, it's a much more mature. It is a, I don't want to say darker plot, but it is a bit on the mature side. But you know, it has the atmosphere. It does feel as if it belongs in the Sonic the Hedgehog universe. That's a good thing, because one of the things that Sonic 06 failed to do is the plot in that game was just too dark and dull and not fun on the not fun to go sit through, with a couple exceptions. That badass kick, I love it. I just think Sonic Unleashed, he succeeds in that as regard, and I think I may have accidentally killed that guy off screen. Well, I haven't really killed that guy, but you know, well, yeah. Again, just like before, you want to talk. This is one of the only times where you actually have to talk to civilians that are around the town in order to get more information. And now we are in Missouri. Yeah, obviously, very blatantly obvious. Obviously, it goes for the. Sorry, I can't speak today. It's basically based off Africa. No, and I think it's kind of obvious at this point. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm not trying to offend anybody here, but that's just how it is. Is at least what you're seeing on the screen. I'm gonna get shot one day, I swear to God. But this guy has these purple smoke coming out of his head, and I missed that sun metal. Pass me, what are you doing? Hey, no, stop looking at the moon, what are you, Well, that was dumb of me. And And of course, we are now playing as the werehog again. So this is gonna be a nighttime stage. Lovely. Well, going in, I'll say right off the bat, going into the Wii version already, is that Missouri, well, technically Missouri is in the Wii version. You know, there is a hub world and all, but it's only exclusive to it only has a boss fight, which we'll see later, later on, a little bit after this point in the game. But as far as main levels go, no, this is one of the only 2 levels in the game where it has exclusive levels. There's another continent in this game that's not included at all in the Wii version. And we'll see that later on as we go on through the game. And now we are heading into Savannah Citadel at night. You know, I just love how Sonic just walks into the stage. He's all like, alright, let's get this over with. Like, even Sonic is not too happy about this. Again, I don't think the werehog is awful, but it's still funny to think about. Now before you press on through the level, I would want to suggest that you might want to look through this open field here, because there are some sun medals you can collect. And like I said before, you want to scrounge up every medal you can get. And if you were ignoring them all the way through the entire game and only collected the sun medals you see right offhand, let's just say you just made a big headache for yourself. And of course I got the swarm of enemies on me, but they're not attacking. Oh man. And yeah. So obviously oh yeah, there's one thing I need to mention. You may have noticed at the end of certain stages, or these yellow prisms that I'm collecting, whenever I kill enemies, whether it's daytime or whether I'm playing as daytime Sonic or nighttime Sonic, like those little prisms here, those diamonds. And what I'm collecting here is experience points, because apparently the Sonic Unleashed has an upgrading system. I think I may have mentioned this before. Wait, did I mention this before? I'll just say it anyway, just for the sake of a reminder. Again, you can upgrade Sonic to his. You can upgrade Sonic speed and ring capacity, at least in the daytime stages. And you can upgrade the many attributes that the werehog has. I think I may have mentioned this before. Yeah, this does sound familiar. But there is another way you can upgrade Sonic. Because the rings not only act as your health, but they also act as currency. I don't know, I'm not sure how Sonic feels about that. Given the only thing that's keeping him alive, and he's using it as currency. But anyway, you can use them. You can use the rings as currency, and you can buy items and food at the shop. But the items you can get are basically souvenirs, and you can give them to Professor Pickle, let's just say for Sun and Moon medals. I don't know why Professor Pickle is keeping these away from us. This greedy bastard. But then there's the food, and the food pretty much gives Sonic experience points. And in fact, there's also a certain character we'll run into, I think in part 5, and there's a certain trick we can use. I think it's called the Wentos trick. I'm not sure, I don't know how to pull it off, and I don't pull it off in this game, nor do I give the souvenirs. Yes, I'm going in raw. I don't... Maybe... Plus, if Professor Pickle's gonna keep those away from me, then you know what? Let him keep them. Let him be greedy. Yeah, I don't care. I can do this myself. I might regret it, but then again, I'm only like 10 sun medals short, I think. Booyah! I love those critical attacks. Next, the animations are really... I just love how the animations look. They look really stylish. It's fun to watch. Now hidden in certain parts of debris that's all around the combat fight, all around the combat zones. You can gain temporary power-ups, or you can gain power-ups, some temporary and some that'll help you out. Like, first off, you have at the ring with the spike with a spiky shape on it, and I think that fills your health all the way. And then there's the light pearl. Well, yeah, that's what I'm calling it. And it builds up your unleashed meter. And as you can see on top of the unleashed meter, the werehog also has a shield you can use. That I rarely use. I rarely use. The shield is what I rarely use, unless it's up against a boss or a big enemy, like those Gaia Titans or whatever. Yeah. Although sometimes it doesn't really work anyway. Maybe because as I get knocked on my ass anyway. How redundant for me to say. I ain't saying it. I don't know why I'm leaving these enemies alive. I have a tendency for leaving enemies, for trying to ignore the enemies, and trying to activate the platforms myself, only to get constantly interrupted. Oh, there's a sun medal. But see, this is what I was talking about earlier. Like sun medals will be hidden away from you. And you won't know that. I think it's even worse in the daytime stages because, as in the daytime levels, they're hidden away in certain pockets of the stage. It's like you saw in Apato's Act 2. But we had to stop before the homing attack. Before we had to jump up over the gap, the one gap, we had to stop, go down the stairwell, and then collect the medal. That's honestly sort of bad design when you think about it. The Sun and Moon medals, I'm gonna say right now, I do not like how they were handled. Well, just because of that, and you need so many of these medals, let's just progress through the stages to begin with. In fact, heck, the medal requirement to unlock the sub-levels, along with the main levels, they cost less medals. They cost less medals than the actual stage. You think it'd be the other way around, but no. That's how they designed it. It's like they forgot to check. Or maybe forgot to use their common sense. But anyway, Missouri Knight actually whenever I played through this game, I do remember having a lot of trouble with this stage, especially near the very end, which we're actually very close to. But it's specifically because you're in a big brawl and it's in one small room, and it's very easy to get killed in that said room, which we'll be coming up to later on in the stage. Now what I just collected here, which looks like Sonic is on fire, that increases your strength. It's not like the Unleashed. It's not like when you're Unleashed you can. It's not like when you're in Unleashed mode. Oh, you're more powerful when you're also more faster and invincible. It only increases your strength, but and that shield, obviously it lets you, it reduces the damage. It reduces damage. Yeah, there we go. Oh. So here we got a little brain teaser. This is honestly the first Werehog level where we have to do this kind of stuff. Like we actually have to think where to put these blocks at, just to get onto the higher, get to the higher ledge. It's like we have to slowly push it to the destination. Leave it there. Push it to the other platform. And then we have to raise this platform. Well, at least raise this little elevator thing and go. And that's the puzzle. That's the puzzle. Well, for you, most of the puzzle, honestly, a lot of the every puzzle in the Werehog stages is just they're not that brain teasers or anything. Maybe they're more in the sub-levels, but in terms of the actual main acts, they're not very challenging at all. For the most part, you have to, it's either block pushing like that, or you have to put these color blocks in the correct color or pedestal. Yeah, it's not that hard. Although I have to rearrange all this, push the second block onto the platform. One day when I get the Zelda Ocarina of Time or something, I'm probably gonna do a really crappy job at telling the dungeons. I'm honestly thinking about doing a Zelda game, to be honest. But if it's gonna be a Zelda game, I'm more familiar with the 3D games, because again, I suck at 2D. Although I do enjoy Link to the Past a lot, or say, well, yeah, Link to the Past. Not too sure about the NES games, but I might do stuff like Ocarina of Time, maybe Majora's Mask, if I can actually beat it. But this is the room I was talking about, getting off the Zelda tangent. This is the room I was talking about. Because of the fact that this room is so small and and they throw 4 enemies at a time, and it can get really clustered, and you'll get hit a lot really fast. As on your first playthrough, you'll probably die a lot in this part of the stage. And you'll have to redo the block puzzle part. I don't know why they would just put the checkpoint right in front of this room. I mean, it would make more sense. and of course, as enemies just keep respawning, I am already sick of this battle music. I kind of wish I can still listen, or at least if the nighttime music was more upbeat, or if they just ramped up the nighttime music, like that would have been a nicer touch. Could be something like Sly Cooper, where or at least in the first game, where you get spotted, where the music is all normal, but if you get spotted, then the music amps up. Then the music amps up a bit. I kind of wish they did the same here.
That's right, baby.
But that is it for Missouri Night, as well as this part. So the next time we meet in part 4, we're gonna be coming back to Missouri and learn a bit more about how to restore the Chaos Emeralds. With all that said and done, I'm GameMan5804, and I hope you all have a great day.
Professor Pickle! Are you alright? We got here as fast as we could. Professor?
Hello?
How dare they call this culinary concoction food? Look here, do you see this sorry excuse for a sandwich? The bread should be no less than 3/4 of an inch thick. Upon it, 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise and a pinch of black pepper. The contents, fresh cucumber, sliced thinly, if you please. Am I quite right, Tails?
I know I learned something here today.
Professor, it's good to see you haven't changed.
But tell me, what brings you here? The menu is hardly worth the trip, if you ask me.
No, Professor. We came here to rescue you.
Oh, I see. How rude of me. Right then, first things first. It's about time someone taught the chef here how to make a proper sandwich.
You can file a complaint later, Professor.
Let's get out of here before Eggman's welcoming committee shows up.
Oh, yes, quite. But let us be sure to collect the contents of that vault before departing. Ah, thank you. Those documents are our only hope for surviving this crisis. Let's go. There's no time to lose. I'm half starved after being fed nothing but those terrible sandwiches.
Want some chocolate, Professor?
My. Don't mind if I do. These ancient documents are known as the Gaia manuscripts. They tell the legend of a disaster that befell our planet some tens of thousands of years ago.
A disaster?
Quite. And according to the Gaia manuscripts, this isn't the first time the planet has been broken apart into pieces. The cause lies at the very core of the planet. All the phenomena we've witnessed are the direct result of one creature. The hyper-energy organism spawned at the planet's core, Dark Gaia.
So how do we stop this Dark Gaia and put the world back together?
Luckily, Dark Gaia has yet to be fully reborn. We most likely have Dr. Eggman's premature wake-up call to thank for that. If we act now, we may be able to restore the planet by returning power to the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic, you must travel to each of the temples listed in the Gaia manuscripts. The planet's power will restore the Chaos Emeralds, and in turn, the Chaos Emeralds will restore the planet and help it heal naturally.